Hello again. Mark Nickerson, First Selectman, Town of East Lyme. I'm pleased to welcome you to East Lyme Issues and Answers. We meet every couple weeks or so, go over the calendar of events coming up, issues in town, and then maybe introduce you to a board member or commission member or department head, someone in our town who's interesting and does good work on behalf of all of us. Today will be no exception. But first, some events coming up. First of all, we're taping this on, what is this, the 7th, 8th of March? 8th of March, and it's beautiful outside. Let's take a step back. Almost 6 weeks ago, the groundhog said 6 weeks left. And you know what? Darn it, he was right, because we're getting into that springtime feeling. Yeah, we'll dip back into some colder weather, I'm sure, because it's New England. But, you know, and I'm reminded because it was the first selectman, first year, during the Niantic run, which is around the St. Patrick's Day, and there was a snowstorm somewhere around the 17th of March last year. I think that was the last push last year. And here we are. We have crocuses coming up. We have 70-degree weather here at the first full week of March. So good weather is coming. It reminds us that we're going to come out of our hibernation. We're going to get on a fully restored boardwalk in a matter of weeks. We're going to get on those beaches that are being prepped for the summer season and our downtown and all that. So spring is coming. Here comes summer, and we're looking forward to that. So I already mentioned some up and coming events. The Niantic Road Race. It's a 5K road race starting somewhere downtown, I think Methodist Street. That kicks off on the 19th of March. That's the Saturday after St. Patrick's Day. We're praying for some good weather this year. Again, we had ice and snow last year. We were laying down salt and sand at the finish line. So 19th of March. Another road race right after that is on the 24th of April. What used to be the Flanders 5K has moved to the Boardwalk 5K. We're going to start at McCook's Beach parking lot. We're going to run out and around somewhere through the neighborhoods, down Main Street, swing around, and head down the boardwalk to finish up. And that roadway will be done. We'll finish up back at McCook's Park up top. That will be on the 24th of April. Sign up now. I think the Niantic, I know the Niantic Main Street group is doing it. You can find forms and sign-ups on Facebook, on their site on Facebook, maybe through Parks and Rec, but I know Facebook, or you know, look up Niantic Main Street, Google them, you'll find it. It's a Boardwalk 5K, and really looking forward to that. We expect everyone in town to come out. That will be the kind of the unofficial opening of the boardwalk. We actually will have it open in the next couple of weeks. Might as well talk about that now. Again, today's the 8th of March that we're taping this show. And we expect in the next 14 to 16 days that the rest of the material will be in and installed. We're waiting on the last bit of railing coming in the next couple of days. It'll be in, it'll be installed, we'll finish up. We have to seal all the cement all the way down from Amtrak, all the way down to hole in the wall, and it'll be ready to go. So we're just days away. And it's been a long 2.5 year construction process. We haven't had a boardwalk for 4 full years. So we're looking forward to that. It's going to be a great summer and a great opportunity. Please be patient, just a couple more days. I know it's hard. It's 70 degrees out. You want to go out there and finally use it, and you see that progress is slow. We'll get there. Also on the 19th of March, I drove by the sign today. It's the day that I star on my calendar every year. Dairy Queen is opening. Now, I don't know about Frosty Treat. Now, you want to give equal time. So at my next show, we'll talk about Frosty Treat and the rest of them. Gumdrops and Lollipops is always open. Dairy Queen, 19th of March, same day as the Niantic. So go run, go have a Guinness because I think Black Sheep sponsors that Niantic, and then head over for a DQ at the end. Exciting day. October 1st. The folks that put together all the historic properties in town, so the Samuel Smith House, the Smith Harris House, Tom Lee House, along with the open spaces people, so historic places and open spaces. See how that rhymes? They're putting together something like a Tour de France, where we're going to have a 100-mile road race, but not a race, just a tour. I think a 25-mile route and then a 10-mile route for us amateurs throughout the town, and all those routes will go past the historic places and some of the open spaces in town to benefit our historic homes. So we want to start talking about that now. October 1st is the day. That's when we start doing those heart walks and the Terry Broder breast cancer walk and all that. Start right around those weekends in the fall. But we're looking for volunteers. If you're interested in helping us out, lending your expertise, and realize this is a great cause, helping our town directly, give me a call at 691-4110. That's the town hall number. Or email me at mnickerson@eltownhall.com. Got it? 21st of May is Touch a Truck. Holy cow. If you're a 4-year-old, it's like Christmas in May. And it benefits the Child and Family Agency. I believe that's what it's called. It's a big deal. Tons of trucks there, lots of food vendors, always a good day. It's at the top of McCook's, 21st of May. It's a great fundraiser, and I'm glad we could promote it here. We're very supportive of that, and the folks do great work. Lastly, we met, a group of citizens met about the dog park. We're going to continue looking at that. We've narrowed it down to a few places. There is a field in Roxbury, on Roxbury Road, not necessarily the NA space. That would be a default area. There's a place right across from Brydebrook Park that is being looked at. We were going to put the police station there at one time. I do believe that's town-owned land. It's wooded, so we'd have to do some clearing. But that would be some nice synergy. The dog park there across the street from Brydebrook Park, where there's facilities and running water and plenty of parking. So we're going to figure that out in the coming months. It's going to be a slow process. The citizens are going to be asked to do some fundraising and maybe match some town money against their fundraising. But there's a lot of interest. I heard there's 30 or 40% of the town are dog owners or had been dog owners. So there's some interest, there's some like-minded people out there. And it really is the kind of facility that a quality town puts together. So it's the kind of the new thing to do, and not that we want to be trendsetters, but it's something we should do for our citizens that own dogs. So anyway, and we're in the middle of budget season, so not a whole lot to talk about because we're in the process now of moving all budgets to the Board of Finance, who will spend a month and a half looking over the budgets, investigating every department, looking for efficiencies and making sure we're doing it right, and then moving it on to the town citizens to have a look at it at a town meeting, and then a referendum somewhere in that third week of May, and that's by statute. That's by ordinance, I should say, town ordinance. And with me today is the keeper of a whole lot of that money. Oh dear, I don't want to introduce you that way, but Dr. Tim Hagen has got one of the toughest jobs in town. He's the chairman of the Board of Education. Welcome, Tim.
Oh, thank you, Mark, and it's great to be here. I'm glad to be part of this, and it was a great rundown you gave on all of the events coming up in East Lyme. It's certainly a very special town, and with lots of good things happening.
Yeah, with each one of those events, there's a dozen people behind each one of those events making sure it happens. And the traditions and the time-honored traditions of putting on these whether it's 5K or fundraisers or Touch a Truck or, it's great. We have a great town, and people are very involved. Great volunteers. Yes. So speaking about being involved, there's nobody in town who is a volunteer, unpaid position, elected but unpaid, and there's many people in town that do that. There's nobody that works harder than the Board of Education chairman. It's a full-time job.
It's amazing. Some weeks I feel like I'm almost putting in a full-time, 40 hours a week at the job. But it's very enjoyable, very satisfying. And we have so many great people to work with. That's what makes it just wonderful. Is all the support that we get from everyone in town, parents and the entire school district staff, the teachers. They're fantastic.
Yeah,
really
it shows.
Yes,
there's pride. Just it happens in East Lyme. So let's start with. Let's start with Tim Hagen here.
Yeah,
How
sure.
the heck did you end up here? Let's
my
talk
gosh.
about. Let's see. You had a career at one point. No doubt you
Yeah.
had some education behind you.
Yeah. So many decades ago, actually, almost 4 decades ago, I came to this area and started to work at Pfizer. And I had a 30-plus year career at Pfizer. Met my wife there, and we got married, and we picked East Lyme as the place to live and raise a family. So we came to East Lyme in 1979 and raised our family, 3 kids. They all went through the East Lyme public school system. And we were very, very grateful for the fantastic education that was given to the kids and all of their friends too, because we keep in contact with so many of the kids' friends, and it's just amazing how successful the children have been that have gone through the East Lyme School District and on to successful careers.
So yeah, like that's almost like 40 years ago.
40 years ago, I know.
79.
That's-
I mean,
yeah.
it's 37 years ago.
Yeah.
And back then, so you're a highly educated person. You're working at Pfizer. You meet your intelligent, smarter
I don't
wife.
know about that. Yeah. But, yeah.
Women are smarter, and so says the song. And you go, we have to raise a family. Where are we going to go? We go to East Lyme for the schools. System.
We looked at the schools. We were going to definitely planning on raising a family. We wanted to be near the schools. We just live right down the street from the high school on Boston Post Road.
Yeah.
And we've lived there for 37 years.
Okay.
Isn't that amazing? It's just incredible.
So fast forward 37 years. Ask any realtor out there. I challenge you. Ask any realtor out there who's got the best school system, where people are focused and buying a house and all that. East Lyme still is there, and it's not. The old. One of my mentors said, it's easy to get to the top of the hill. It's hard to stay there.
Right.
That's
right.
People are trying to knock you off, but it's hard to sustain that level of excellence. And I'm sure we've had bumps in the roads, but here we are 37, 40 years later, and we're still considered a very good school system.
Very good.
The top of the Derg, and we'll get into that a little bit later. So you get involved in your community.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Oh, that was amazing. It was amazing. My children, when my son was in the 4th grade, he was at Flanders School, had Mr. Anderson as his teacher, and he was interested in getting involved in competitive swimming. And at that point, here in East Lyme, we did not have a swimming pool. And there was a group of parents that kind of got together at the same time when the efforts were being aligned to put an addition on the high school. And I got involved with that group, trying to justify and have the community invest in the swimming pool at the high school. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, we did. And through that process, I became very good friends with Mary Broderick. And Mary is a very, very smart woman. And she talked me into getting more and more involved with the Board of Education type of things. And a few years later, I had an opportunity to come on the board. I took over Bill McCoy's position on the board, and then decided to run. And my gosh, we just got elected to my 4th term. So I'm in my 13th year right now on the Board of Education, and it's been a great time. But it's amazing, just a simple conversation with somebody like Mary Broderick. And I got hooked and pulled into the doing it.
Yeah, I have a similar story like that.
Yeah,
Just conversations over dinner, a glass of wine.
Oh my gosh!
And hey, you should do something. And I ran for the lowliest. There was zoning board alternate. Not to say those zoning board alternates aren't important out there. Thank you for your service. But I just wanted to put a toe in the water, and off it went. And with no intentions of doing this job, the job kind of found me. But you just get you're brought into it, and it's very interesting work for the right person in the right circumstance. So there you are, 13 years later on the Board of Ed. You've been chairman for
this will be, I think, the 5th year.
It's amazing.
And I certainly along the way I'd have to give an awful lot of credit to all the multiple board members along the way that were instrumental in showing me the way. In particular, one Kevin Seary has been a wonderful mentor Well, he was on the board for, my gosh, for like 15, 16 years, and now he's on the Board of Selectmen. But Kevin was a great mentor for me. He was the chair before I took over.
Yeah. So you say 15 or 16 years. Holy cow! You just got elected your 4th term, and at the end of this, it would be 16 years.
I know.
So isn't it weird in a snap?
Yes.
All of a sudden, you're not only the elder statesman,
right.
but holy cow, going on your 2nd decade.
Right.
Heading into your 3rd decade.
Yeah.
We hope.
That's right.
No,
I
while.
don't know about that.
So you mentioned Kevin Siri, who is not solely responsible, but did some yeoman's work there for the athletic field.
Oh, absolutely.
And there, I didn't realize that you had a big part. Well, a part. I know you would take that back if I said big, but a significant part in putting that pool, having the pool installed.
Yeah, there was a very large group of parents. I played a role with being the liaison with the Board of Education, and it really turned out to be a great deal for the entire community. I'm just so happy that it's worked out.
And we were always, we as a town, we're old Yankees. No matter whether we're young yuppies, we're still old Yankees. We liked a good value, and we like return. And we don't like to spend that money unless it's fully vetted.
That's right.
And that's what makes us great as a town. And we have all these great services, and we have all these great parks, and we have all these great beaches, these great schools, these great athletic fields and parks and pools. But they're always a fight to get.
Yes. Yep.
And for whatever reason they are. But what a great thing. You're talking several years later, and I can't imagine life without the pool or the athletic field or McCook's Park that nearly didn't get built, or the middle school that nearly didn't get built from town votes. So here we are. So you've presented a budget, or you've finished up your budget.
Yeah.
It's gone through the Board of Education, and you want to tell us a little bit about it? This isn't the final number. I caution the people watching that we're at a place now in the middle of the budget process, but we thought we'd bring Dr. Hagen out here today and talk a little bit about the process and where you're at so far.
Yeah, so way back in the fall of last year, our superintendent, Jeffrey Newton, our new superintendent, who's just finishing up his 1st year of service with East Lyme, embarked on assembling a bottoms-up budget with his administrative team. And our first board meeting in January of this year, Jeff presented the budget to the board, and he came in at a percentage increase of about 4.5, somewhere in that area. Through a series of meetings and discussions and educational processes as well, the board worked very diligently to understand, the essence of what was in the budget, and also looking for areas where we could reduce the cost or the impact. And in short, we got to a number of a percentage increase of about 3.56, I think it is, in the budget. And the reason for that is that we did renegotiate the teacher's contract this past year, and there are salary increases in there, as well as our health insurance. And Mark, you know about how our health insurance, not issues, but the costs have continued to escalate.
They've escalated the last couple of years.
So with those increases of just salaries and insurance impact and then other employee benefits, that constituted of the 3.56% increase in our budget. That's 2.56% of our increase in the budget. So across all the other line items in the Board of Education budget, there's about another percentage increase. I think that I know our superintendent, Mr. Newton, wanted very much to come in at a lower figure, but because of the renegotiation with the teacher's contract, we're a little bit higher than where we would hope to be. The good news is that in that renegotiation, the teachers agreed to go to a health savings plan, a high deductible plan,
within the savings.
which actually saved us in this coming year a couple $100,000, or I think $176,000 in expense, and in going forward in the future, we're actually going to reap some additional savings as well.
Right.
So I think that worked out real well. We were also very pleased to be able to give our teachers a little bit more of an increase in salaries. We have been a little bit low on our salaries with the teachers. And gosh, I mean, they do a fantastic job, and we want to be competitive in the areas as well in terms of retaining our staff.
And to be frank, that's been a bit of an issue over
It
the
has
last couple
been, yes,
years.
it has.
If you're paying the lowest in your in the marketplace, and we are one of the lowest in scale-wise. I mean, there's some if you get so many years, and if you get so many degrees, but you know that new teacher coming out, you know, we weren't retaining them. So that was an issue. It was an issue that we talked about a lot during the campaign season. About, you know, the magic is in the classroom. We need to invest in that magic because let's face it, you know. When our school system is graded, it's about the teachers.
It really is.
It's about the teachers and with the job they're doing. So
very much so.
Kudos there.
Yeah. So I mean, so I'm pretty pleased with that. We also had other budget savings this year. We are, because our enrollment is continuing to drop. It's coming down, working our way down. We have reduced our teaching staff by 2 positions. Fortunately, through retirements, we haven't had to impact anyone. And we also are monitoring our class sizes very, very carefully, and that's so important at the elementary school level, that we have our class sizes at these levels that we're at today. We had some savings in utilities as well, and we also had some savings in having some teachers retire. And when teachers retire, we usually hire in less experienced teachers, which come in at a lower salary rate. And so there's some savings there. The not so good news is that you have to invest in bringing those teachers up to speed.
So there's a training element, continuing like ed element, and a little bit more supervision perhaps is required.
Yes, that's right.
Like any business.
So the other point I wanted to make, which was really, I think is really a great thing with the leadership of our board and several of our board members, as well as with our superintendent, we really have started to generate a long series of lists of strategic areas for savings opportunities. We have this list, and over the next year or two, as part of our new strategic operating plan, I hope that we're going to be able to implement and explore some of these areas for savings, such as looking for investing in having grant writers look to see if we can bring in money through grants and other areas in terms of consortiums. I know that our RESC in the area, Learn, is in the process of starting to bring together our business managers within our area. And in that, they'll be looking for ways of trying to generate savings through building a consortium, and we're hoping that we're going to be able to reduce some costs there as well.
Yeah, it's you know, in New England we have these very parochial.
Yes,
I think that's the
very
word
much so. Yes,
we have our little village towns.
Yep.
And everybody has to have their own superintendent and their own way of doing business. And although we do treasure those small school districts, you know, you go to Texas and they're just vast. They're 50,000 kids in a system. We have less than 3,000 kids, so there's a cost of doing business there when each town has to do it separately. But
so you know, and I know as we were just chatting before we had the startup of this session, East Lyme continues to be pretty good on our expenditures per pupil, and based upon where we are in our reference group with other towns that are similar to East Lyme, we're kind of in the middle low cost area per student, and that's really good. And we've been able to maintain that while having fantastic excellence in education, and our kids doing extremely well.
So a DIRG means?
DIRG means District Reference Group.
And that means similar towns, with
yep.
similar size, similar budget, similar
Yeah,
system.
so it'd be like New Milford, Old Saybrook, Southington, Stonington, Waterford, Milford, Ledger,
Colchester, Clinton. I think
Colchester.
they're
Yeah,
listed
there's 24 of
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Down the
Oh, yeah,
bottom.
there's
So,
too.
so we perform just about on average as far as the cost per student goes.
Yeah.
But we were number one in our DIRG, or very close to the very top of our DIRG in a lot of different performance areas, which
Yes.
means for the dollar we're spending, we're getting more value than the typical school system.
That's
and that's
right.
a tribute to you, sir. Your great work for the last 13 years on the Board of Education,
Yeah.
several
I think-
years as chair, and a lot of people behind you.
Yes, that's right.
But you
And I
show-
would say a whole lot of people.
A whole lot of
and-
people behind you.
and-
I get it because
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
the same thing going on in town. There's
right.
there's a whole lot of people that get their job done. You're on behalf of a grateful town. Thank you for your service.
Okay.
It is incredible work being
Good.
chairman of the Board of Education. Again, thank you very much.
Yep. Thanks,
for
Mark.
coming out today. What a great conversation we had today with Dr. Tim Hagen. We'll have you back in a couple weeks, you and Superintendent Newton. We'll
Yeah.
talk about the new schools that we're hoping to build and go through them in detail. My name is Mark Nickerson, First Selectman of East Lyme. Thanks for tuning in. Issues and Answers. We'll see you next time.